What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Red Feather once again, as always, and welcome to the latest installment into my concept review series. Today, we got ourselves the Volcanic Parade, a Lunar New Year like event, which may not make any sense but because I kind of technically designated the Abandoned DSC military event, which I believe was episode 8, as a Christmas like event, so I'll let this one slide. And we have ourselves a new Titan, the Volcano. Corporation Yandy, erupt heat and hell on your enemies. This here may seem odd, but this is supposed to be like somewhat of a callback to the Seraph all the way back. I believe it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Jesus. I might be wrong about that, but you guys will correct me in the comments if necessary. Like the Seraph has like a little flavor text in between its corporation and description. Uh, Death comes on Titans upon great wings. And I thought I might as well bring that for the volcano, because the volcano sounds awesome. An absolute marvel if Yanti technology has finally evolved with a new Titan that incinerates its opponents to ashes. Volcano is an experimental evolution to the Minos from Icarus technologies, but focuses on burning out robot circuits and electronics. The Minos is cool, but I would like one that's literally on fire. Special technology was used to allow Volcano to move at extreme speeds, but at the cost of damaging itself while venting out the excess heat from its powerful reactor. We will get to this in a moment, but this is a tidbit for its second ability, in which its first ability is Blazing Rush. The Titan significantly accelerates, increasing its own movement speed, and emits a massive heat wave that burns enemies that stand in it while accumulating a pyro effect. Now, first off, pyro is another new effect of mine, like the glow, rot, and static, but we'll get to that after this little bit. The damage is increased if any opposing robots are closer to the Titan while suffering a blast effect. This here makes perfect sense. Fire is very dangerous and will severely hurt. Like, if you're somewhat a little far away from like a bonfire, you'll somewhat feel the heat if you're not too far. But you slightly get closer while having a hand out, you'll soon feel the heat increasing as you get closer. So stay away from that and stay away from the volcano as far away as possible if it gets into the game. And here's Pyro explodes into a zone that deals fire damage over time. Now, this is essentially Freeze Blast from the Morona, Chione, and Jotun, the Freeze Blast effect, but instead of freeze, it's blast. It's fire. We move on to stats, 2 charges max, 18-second cooldown. I might have that lowered, but you guys will tell me if that's fine or not. And 15% more speed, ability damage is 7,329, 55% bonus damage, 5-second duration. Cool. Again, might lower that to 3 or maybe even 2 seconds, but it's whatever. You guys will tell me if, like I said with the cooldown, if you think a 5-second duration for the speed and stuff is fine. 15-second effect duration, might lower that down. Zone range for the pyro effect is 150-meter range. I believe this is the same as the not Pathfinder, the freeze blast effect for the ice rockets, but I don't know if the exact range is 150. I could be wrong or right about this. You guys will correct me in the comments if I'm right, depending on what it is. Because I don't know the effective range, despite a Robots nerd who's played for almost 5 to maybe even 7 years. And now we go into its secondary ability, Overheat Accelerator, which will explain why this tidbit is here. The Titan overloads its reactor, igniting itself in flames, dealing damage to itself. While on fire, the Titan accelerates, increasing its own movement speed and the damage of the Titan's guns and ability. This trade-off is like your Titan is taking damage with its secondary ability, but in exchange, you'll move faster and have more outgoing damage. 14-second cooldown, speed increase of 25%, ability damage increased by 20%, and a base ability damage increased by 30%. I split these two out up because I feel like it's a lot better for the damage for both the ability and your outgoing damage to be completely different. Because if I just have them both be the same, that could either make it broken. The self damage is you lose 2% of your durability per second on a 6 second duration, which I think is all right. HP is 442,400. Speed is 44. Class is designated as a brawler. 3 beta, like the Minos. Default weapons are 3 Battaliator, and the recommended equipment are 3 Burnout. Which, spoilers, these are flamethrowers. Before the Inferno and Pyro came out. A lot of these concepts were made before most concepts came out. And honestly, I've said it before that it was a little stupid that it took Pixonic so long to allow Titan flamethrowers to be in the game. And they came out as flamethrowers with unlimited ammo, which I thought was a little weird, but I've gotten used to it. Still wonder when they're going to get a special edition in which there's no robots, and here we are, the Burnout for Yandy. I know Evil Life, they're a little dedicated to Evil Life. I believe that's the faction with the Blaze, Igniter, and Ember. Might be wrong, but I don't care. An auxiliary flamethrower that incinerates enemies with a super high temperature mixture. The damage from this weapon ignores physical and energy shields while applying a pyro effect. Like we saw with the volcano, we know what pyro does. That explodes into a zone that deals fire damage over time. Unlike most flamethrowers, this one fires its flames at high speeds thanks to advanced technology. So what this means is that this tidbit essentially makes the flamethrower, the burnouts, and the alpha version easier to aim. So shell type, fire / energy. I feel like it's weird that the flamethrowers didn't get their own unique type of shell type, like it's fire, but they're classified as energy for the originals: blaze, ember, and igniter. And if guaranteed a chance, or just a high accumulation. Effect damage is 94. Zone radius is 100, not 150 from the volcano. And damage is 693, 350 meter range. And effect duration is 5.5 seconds with a 5-second reload time for the beta slot. The alpha version is eruption. Like the other, nothing's changed except for the stats for its damage and effect damage. And this one's the alpha slot. And then we move on to some regular robot weapons, starting with the kunai for Yandy, a light weapon that fires harpoons that explode on contact. Advanced technology allows the harpoons to stick to any surface, but it takes a bit of time for them to explode after it attaches to something. So simply put, these are the normal weapon equivalent to the saber and javelin from the previous episode. But they deal fire. While the spears are impaled into a robot, it will burst waves of flames that apply a pyro effect on enemies. So yeah, there's a lot of pyro effects going on here. Shell type explosive, damage is 2912, and 600 meter range. I'm going to nerf the range to 500 to match the Titan equivalent, so don't complain in the comments. Effect duration 5 seconds, 5 seconds time before explosion, 100% effect accumulation, burst damage 168. The range is 100 meters with a 6-second reload. The slight slot. Fracture is the medium one, again, and only difference is damage and the burst damage, all for medium, like I said, and the heavy one is the skewer. Again, just like before, damage and burst damage are the only differences. Now we move on to the pilots. We have ourselves Magistrate Burnside, like I say with the Titanic Reborn, episode 4, and we'll be seeing Burnside once again later on. And this isn't going to be the only time where he's going to show up. He'll show up a third time in a future episode. Titanic Efforts, Volcano deals increased ability damage by 10%. Flames of Fury, upon secondary ability activation, Volcano is immune to lockdown and suppression effects and restores a portion of its durability when the duration ends. And I'd say 4% per second, and that will be 4% per second over 3 seconds. And then Fireheart. Volcano's primarily ability gets an additional charge. If I were to make a Minos pilot, this would be it. This would be there. And then we have another pilot. We have Ryu Shenlong for the Fafnir. Yes, a fourth pilot for the Fafnir. The Fafnir needs some new attention. It got some with Noah Minix from, I don't remember which update it came out, but also the ability to have Ghost, Daredevil, and Traditionalist as pilot skills. But still, all three of its pilots have something to do while it's in the air. And that's where this pilot comes in. Serpent's Blessing. Fafnir has increased. Oh wait, this. Oh wait a minute. Sorry about that. I misread this and thought this was the wrong pilot. But we'll see another Fafnir pilot somewhere later. So Ryu Shenlong, Serpent's Blessing. Fafnir has increased flight speed while ignoring energy shields and force fields by 15%. The Fafnir needs a speed buff. Like all those other buffs it got, like the pilot, the 3 new skills it should have had, those are fine, but the Fafnir is so slow while it's in the air. And it needs this. There are no mothership, turret, drone, or paint job. We have the title, Volcanic Parade, you get the Serpent Charmer title. And it may not make any sense because the whole theme is dedicated to a volcano, but this is my concept. I do whatever I want. Or you guys can tell me if you think it's alright or not. And then we got the special editions, and we have a familiar face. The Vulture gets another special edition. The Zulong. Essentially, this special edition makes the Vulture and takes the Vulture and makes it slightly more draconic, I think. I appreciate Zulong is, I believe, the name of like a dragon or something. And then the Kunai Fracture and Skewer get the Serpent Special Edition, and these weapons are meant to go with the Zulong Vulture. And there's a clear reason why I didn't give the Vulture's weapons another Special Edition, because the weapons already have 2 Special Editions each. The demonic versions from the Demonic Apocalypse event, and the prototype from Titan Reborn. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this little update overview on the Volcanic Parade. Hope you guys liked it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.